I love that. My backup is here. Hi, backup. Sorry, it's just that I saw that my backup account is right here, and I'm thinking, aha, interesting. All right. So, sixth, um, something that caught my attention last time we had you here was when you talked about podcast, and this
Mm-hmm.
is something you're really into.
Yep.
And I know for sure if you're doing podcasts, there's value. So,
Yes, there's that.
would you probably tell us? I don't know if you guys, hi Diana. I don't know if you guys would have the interest of learning podcast and how exactly to create content and how you could monetize the same. And if you would compare podcast and YouTube, I would really love to learn. And I'm sure the rest would also love to.
Okay, so how to go about podcast? I started my podcast how long ago? I started my podcast I think 6 months ago. And listen,
Mhm.
I literally didn't plan to start my podcast, to be honest. I just did a video out of boredom. Like, I was like, let me record this shit. Sorry for using the S word. I was like, let me record this, whatever. And,
All
and,
right.
and, uh, and, and I was like, I posted it on TikTok and I posted it on YouTube.
Mm,
And it was like I did everything on my phone. I recorded it on my phone, edited it on my phone, then I was like, let me post
yeah.
it on all my social media platforms. And I think that was the first video that earned me more than 10K views. And I was like, God damn it, I didn't see this guy.
Mm-hmm.
More than 15K love and any likes. And I was like, yo, I didn't see
Mm-hmm.
this guy. So ili build pressure kwangu. Niko like, sasa mbona watu wananipatia pressure? Guys were like DMing me, hey, we want more. You do it so well. And all that kind of stuff. And I posted on YouTube and I got like 50K views. I was like, guy, kwani amjui jokes? So I think thing is before you start a podcast, I think just identify
Mm,
your niche. Again, it boils down to your niche. Yeah.
yeah.
Identify your niche. What do you want to talk about? What do you want to do different? What do you want to do to stand out? Because there are a lot of podcasts out there. And YouTube says kuna podcast mingi. Yeah. But ask yourself, how can I, hata kama wanaongelea the same things naongelelea,
Mm,
um, what can I do to stand out from everyone? Because at the end of the day,
yes.
we all want to stand out. We don't want to
Yeah.
do things that everybody's doing. You
Yes.
get, like, I'll tell you for a
Mm-hmm.
fact, you see what you do, like with this thing with connecting the HR to the employer and all that. Nobody else is doing it out there. I'll tell you that for a fact.
Mm,
And if there is, I don't think there's a Kenyan doing that. And you do it in a
mm,
way that is so amazing. And if you would
thank
want to
you.
turn this content into a podcast, I think I'd produce that very comfortably. Okay. And the thing is,
Mm,
if you want to, before you produce a podcast, ask
mm,
yourself questions. Ask yourself the what, the why, the how, the when, and the who. That's the five W's and a H. Okay, so who is my target audience? Who do I want to bring on board to as my guest? Whom am I speaking to? Whom is influencing me? Who is influencing me to do this podcast? Why am I doing the why? The first W. Why am I doing this podcast? When am I recording this
mm,
podcast? And what is influencing me to do this podcast?
yeah.
Okay, so how am I gonna produce this podcast? So if you ask yourself those questions and you have those answers, then you that is the first that's the first to go to that's the first step towards making your podcast. Number two is how do I record my podcast? Of course, we have different platforms whereby we can record our podcast. Unless you just want to do audio podcast, then you can use Spotify and maybe other audio streaming
Mm-hmm.
platforms. But if you want to do
Mm-hmm.
video, there's TikTok right now, there is YouTube right now, there is Twitter, there's Facebook, and so on and so forth. So one thing I tell people about doing podcast is if it's gonna be a standalone podcast, like you're the only main person in that podcast, then well and good. You produce yourself, you create that content by yourself, you don't depend on any guest to come on board and all that kind of stuff, then sawa, it all depends on you. It's a one-man show. But if you're doing a podcast where you need other people to come on board, then you have to think so widely. Because, for example, you have two guests on or it's a podcast with two people, or including three people, including you. Ask yourself, to make are they gonna be regulars? Are they gonna be consistently appearing on my podcast, or am I gonna have different guests every single episode? So after identifying that, then write a plan and tell yourself, episode 1, it's gonna be airing every Thursday, every Thursday of every week, and it's gonna be premiering at 8 p.m. and I'm gonna be uploading it on Sunday, so that mkamande waipate. So ask yourself, how can I plan myself for the next 10 weeks? Mua siambiangi watu per month or all that. If you're doing it one podcast a week, then ask yourself, can I plan myself for 10 weeks? That means 10, if you have two guests, that is 20 different, not even 20, yes, 20 different guests. Can you book 20 different guests for different episodes? And if you can, are they willing to come and talk on your podcast? How impactful are they on your podcast? Because you just don't want people who are going to suck from your podcast. You want people who can also give and give value to your podcast. Okay. That is content wise. Editing, or rather equipment wise. Do you have the right equipment? Do you have the pod mics? Do you have the sound equalizers and all that? Or I have seen that there are companies out there right now, they are opening outlets and rooms for people to record podcasts, which is very good, and they're making money out of it. You pay, go record your podcast, they edit and all that kind of stuff. They're making work easier. But if you're a startup and if you're just starting and you don't have money, and maybe you have equipment, I'd prefer get someone who knows how to edit podcasts. And don't do longer podcasts. I always discourage people. If you're starting, don't do long podcasts, because you're starting and you're a newbie in this. Just do something that it's entertaining, captivating, catchy, and educative at the same time. And make sure that your mission statement is made clear about your podcast. Always make sure that even in the podcast, because of this reason. Why do I go to Nyawera's podcast? I go to get this, and make sure as the podcast host, you deliver that, because that is what people are coming to get from your podcast. Okay. Another point is where I'm forgetting. Another point is another point about podcast is appear longevity. Kuwa na panga hiyo content yako, jua week 1 unaenda kuongelea hii, week 2 unaenda kuongelea hii, week 3 unaenda kuongelea hii, and always ask for feedback. What do people think about I always tell people, I value critiques, like I value negative critiques, because those are what build me. I don't usione mtu amekuambia kitu haikubambi kwa comment section alafu unamblock. No, take it positively and use that to propel yourself to the next level. Yeah, I guess that is what I can say about podcasting. And what else? Yes, monetization. Hapo ndo nilikuwa nimesahau. Monetization. When you're coming up with a podcast, mwambia wase, is it an audiovisual podcast, ama ni just audio podcast? If it's an audiovisual podcast, make sure that the aesthetics make sense. Like, make me want to watch you for 30 minutes. Make your podcast so interesting that I want to watch you for the next 1 hour. Ukiamua ni 1 hour. Okay. So how can you handle this? You can handle this by planning your content so well as a host, because unajua siku hizi venye rise of social media, kila mtu anaweza host show. Si kama ile kitambo watu wenye wameenda media school ndio tunaweza ona kwa TV. Siku hizi hata simu zetu ni TV, right? So hata hii ni TV, we are seeing on TV, you understand? So you ask yourself, how can I engage my audience to the point that I don't get to lose them. How do I
Yes.
engage my audience so that I don't get to lose them? I'm speaking from a producer's point of view, guys. I'm not speaking from a
Yeah.
podcast point of view, podcast
Okay.
host point of view. I'm speaking as a producer's point of view. I want you to attract
Okay.
me to the point that I can watch you for 30 minutes without skipping, without forwarding. In fact, the best I can do is to rewind so that I get the point you said so well, right? And that means your podcast is captivating. And right now,
Yes.
YouTube, Instagram, not Instagram, but TikTok, or even whatever, Spotify,
Mm-hmm.
they have an app. They have those, how do we call it? They give you those statistics to show you how many times, or how long people, how many minutes people viewed your podcast, okay, or people viewed the video that you posted, so that you know this
Mm-hmm.
is not working. Like, analyze your podcast. This is not working. I need to do away with this. I need to add more of this. I need to deduct this and add this and do away with this completely. So look at those analytics. Analytics is not just about the numbers, it's about the behavioral changes. Yesterday, I was looking at my YouTube and I realized
Mm-hmm.
they were giving me a statistics of the last 6 months. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, so this is the kind of content people like. This is the kind of content people want me to do. And you see, that is feedback by in its own. So the content that I made, people watched this so much and a number of times and shared it. It means they loved it. So I need to make
Yeah.
more of this. And if you realize that
Mm-hmm.
maybe ingine watu wako watch sana, jiulize, ask
Mm-hmm.
yourself, how can I improve on such content so that people get to watch more? Because at the end of the day, the number of views you get is
Yeah.
the more the money you get at the end of the day. So that is that is according to maybe how these apps will pay you. If you want to make money on the extra side of this, is
Mm-hmm.
attract partners, attract product placement and all that kind of stuff. Go
Mm-hmm.
write proposals to clients. Tell them, I deal with such and such and such. Like, for example, my podcast, I deal with rumba and Congolese music, right?
Yes.
When the Congolese artist Kofi, Fally Ipupa was coming to Kenya,
Mm-hmm.
I approached Johnny Walker and asked them, hey, I have this product and I speak about rumba music and all that. I sent them samples and all that. Then they asked me,
Mm-hmm.
this is what we've been looking for quite a long time. How can we work together?
Mm-hmm.
Together. Sometimes just go for the bag. Don't wait for the bag to come chase you. It will never come. Sometimes you just have to write proposal, get those no's, and keep knocking on that door. So I wrote a proposal
Wow.
and asked them, how can we work together? Like, I want to advertise for you guys, and you guys can come on board. And the first thing they asked me is, how many views do you get? Then I shared them my views and whatever's and the reach and all that. And I
Mm-hmm.
realized, by the way, my main audience, number one, 60% of them are in Congo. I don't even know how, and I don't even speak fluent Lingala per se. My number one audience is in Congo. Two is South Africa.
Mm-hmm.
Three is in Kenya. And in Kenya, most of it is in Nairobi. It is in Nairobi province, Nyanza, and part of Coast, and part of Western. So I was asking myself, what can I do to reach these other audience, maybe in Kenya and all that? So those analytics, do not ignore them. Sit down, look
Mm-hmm.
at them very keenly, and ask yourself, how can I make my content reach this next level? Uh, how can I monetize instead of waiting for YouTube to pay me? How can I also reach out to clients to pay me as I work in hand with them? Don't just do things for
Mm-hmm.
the sake that you are showing off. We are too grown to show off stuff. We want to make money. As much as you're gonna wear a nice dress and all that, don't just show off that dress. Now lip, we don't get anything from it. Likes Azita ku, just likes Azita, they won't pay your bills. You can
Yeah.
have 100,000 followers on
Yeah.
TikTok, but you're going to bed
Yeah.
hungry. Haikusaidi. I always
Yes.
tell people, you'd rather have 10,000 followers who view your content and comment and like and you get that, and you attract clients with that, than having 100k whatever, watu wanakuchocha tu hapo, yes, unakaa fiti and all that kind of stuff, but you're not making money out of your content. Make sure the content you're making is making you money in return. Approach clients. Write a list of the probable clients that you might work with, and after knowing these clients, write proposals to them. Tell them this is how they fit your product. Tell them this is how you can manicure, you can curate your content to fit their agenda. Okay, so and that means you really have now to stop being vulgar on your content. You have to maintain decorum in your content, because most of these clients and big companies, they don't take nonsense from people. They don't want to associate themselves with mediocrity. Yes.
Yes.
So that is what that is what I'd say about that. About making money out of your podcast, out of your content. Yeah, pretty much. And these paid partnerships, they help a lot. They help a lot. Like kuna client by there liwainiambia, I think when I approached TABL, do you know, I sat down in a meeting with them and they told me, nilianza kuambia, hey, me by there I don't even have many followers. I have very little followers. Akanishow, don't worry, the kind of content you're making is not for everyone. It's not for those loyal ones that you have, those 1,000 followers that you have. As much as they follow your content like religiously, those are the 1,000 customers, clients that you want. And when you see, that is when you get someone who understands how numbers work, how they can crunch numbers, and they understand how numbers
Yes.
work. But if you get a client who wants, hey, hauna 50,000 followers, then hakuna kitu tunaweza ambiana. Maybe unaweza post kitu, and those 50,000, they don't give a damn about that thing that you just posted. They are not your target audience. You understand? Yeah. So pia, you also need to know how to kujitetea and how to package yourself to your client. Yeah, pretty much. I know I've said a lot.
Wow. Wow. This live is going to be on YouTube, because I know there's a lot of people that would want to listen to this tomorrow, maybe, or another day. It's going to be on YouTube, and I'll call it the sixth. The sixth. Because I want you guys to go back and listen again. Listen again, because wow, I've really learned a lot. The sixth. So for probably, I don't know, for anyone who would like to put this into perspective, in comparison between YouTube and podcast, which of the two pays better and it's easier to monetize? I know this depends on content, that I know for sure, but which one would you advise and why?
Between what and what?
YouTube and podcast. What,
Okay, first of
what
all,
pays better?
when you say when you say YouTube, you mean like any other content that is posted on YouTube, or when you say
Yes.
podcast, you mean first of all, let me advise you guys. This is free advice I'm giving you guys. Yeah. You see, YouTube is good. Do you know why we have these other platforms like TikTok and Facebook and Instagram? You should use these if you're a podcaster or if you're a content creator, regardless of whatever content you're creating. There's something called long form content and short form content. TikTok is majorly created or curated, or it is engineered for short form content. Okay, and so is Twitter, and so is maybe Facebook, until Facebook changed and all that. But I saw people can even now monetize videos on Facebook. Interesting. But this is what I always tell people: use TikTok and Twitter and Facebook and Instagram to leverage your YouTube channel. Use that content, that long form content you're gonna post on YouTube.
Yeah.
Use TikTok to cut snippets of your content. It's like a trailer. It's like a trailer of the whole movie, right? Cut trailers of these whatever, post them on your TikTok, and tell people, catch me on my YouTube channel. Like you're trying to you have 50,000 followers. Try to direct these followers to convert them to
YouTube.
views on YouTube, right? And
Yes.
when you convert them to views, those views convert to money. Okay.
Yeah.
So I think that's the easiest way to monetize, like, and to convert your followers, your loyal 2,000 or 10,000 followers. Trust me,
Mm-hmm.
2,000 views on YouTube means a lot. I'll tell you this for a fact. If you can convert these 2,000 views, and I'll tell you that is what I'll give you an example of Andrew Kibe, for example. Andrew Kibe converted his followers on Twitter to YouTube. Like he pushed them to go view his content on YouTube, and he does long form content. And now, once people, it takes time, and I'll tell you this: it takes time to grow followers. It takes time to be accepted by people. It takes time for people to put a rubber stamp on you that yes, you are certified as a content creator. So, as you're trying to build your brand, as you're trying to build what you're doing out there, make sure that you're using all these other applications or other whatever platforms to build your major platform to generate you income. Okay, so
Yeah.
if you have a YouTube channel and you are on TikTok and you're on Facebook, you are on Twitter, or now X, if you are on Instagram,
Yeah.
cut that long form content into short snippets, very interesting snippets, and now use that to send views on your YouTube. That is what there is this platform called there is this platform called Tuko. Is it tuko.co.ke or which one? That is like they leveraged so much on that. They know that they do long form content, but waka decide hizi short form content, hii long form wacha to convert into a short. Let's get snippets, or like rather trailers, and then we post it on TikTok and whatever to drive
Yeah.
viewers to the other side of the
Yes.
world. And I think that could be answering your question. And when it comes to
Yes.
monetary, I don't know what platform pays best, but at the end of the day, I wouldn't choose a platform because at now this platform doesn't pay well. No, I won't post on it. No, never ever underestimate. In fact, hata kama unaweza ku convert your video podcast into an audio podcast ukuwe na Spotify account to post huko, please go ahead and do that. Go create a Spotify account, monetize it. Spotify will pay you, yeah, and share as much as you can, yeah. And whenever you're having those video podcasts, make noise about those other social media platforms. It helps you grow followership. It helps you grow that accreditation, like people certify that, this is a very certified content creator. Yeah, if that makes sense.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's at this point that the viewers should be able to drop their questions for the 6th. I can see Miss Nduva say she's encouraged. Podcast, here I come. I love that.
I'm glad.
Honestly, I love the way you explain and expound. Yani, wow, wow. If we have any content creators here or anyone who's been thinking about content creation, then for sure, because you see, sometimes we may see things happening, people posting, but you do not understand the value of that short clip. Now we know this is meant to push YouTube. This is meant to push YouTube. So I have one more question for you. Are you okay? Should I ask the
Yeah,
question?
yeah.
Tell him to
Ask
tell us his
ask
podcast.
as many questions. I have time. Ask as many questions as you want. I'm here.
All right. I'm gonna start with this. Tell him to tell us his handle, podcast handle. What's your podcast handle?
All right. I'm on YouTube at my podcast is called Kwenye Counter. And here's the
Mm-hmm,
interesting fact. When I
mm-hmm,
when I started this Yes, it wasn't even called Kwenye Counter. I was just doing weird. So the name Kwenye Counter came up of because of
Mm-hmm.
the sponsor ideas that I had. Okay, it came up with the sponsor ideas that I have because I talk about Trumba music. I talk about music in general. I host people
Mm-hmm.
who come on the counter. So I was like, what do people generally do on the counter? So my main
Mm-hmm.
idea was an alcohol brand. I wanted an alcohol brand to come on board, and it worked with Johnny Walker. So what I did is I called it the Kwenye Counter is because I wanted my guests to come on the counter and we just vibe as we talk about rumba music and all that. And that is how I came up with the name Kwenye Counter. So
Mm-hmm.
that is how I came up with the name Kwenye Counter, trademarked it, registered it, and licensed it. So I don't think any other media house can take that idea. So wakijaribu watanilipa mamilioni.
Was it try?
Na wasijaribu ya ujinga.
Mm.
Yeah. And
All
plus,
right.
just please
Yes.
tell people tell people to don't just create content for the sake of creating content, guys, and don't
Mm.
give up. Ukicreate content ati una expect it blow up mara once, uta
Mm.
give up mara mingi sana. Consistency is key.
Mm.
Ukishambia watu Kwenye Counter is gonna be airing every Monday morning or every
Yes.
Saturday evening. Please make sure by Friday umeupload umeschedule content itakuwa ina air hiyo time. Watu
Mm.
watakangi kuletiwa down. Once ushaanza kuonyesha nini your viewers in consistency, that's how you lose
Mm-hmm.
them. Yeah, it's
Mm.
like
Yes.
for example, it's for
Yeah.
example your best radio or TV show unapenda, then
Yeah.
una switch on your day, unapata haiko wameweka vitu zingine, you'll feel so disappointed, right? And you'll
Yeah.
flip the
True.
channel immediately to look for
Yeah.
something else. Yeah, so consistency is so key, and that's why I always say for you to kill that consistency, plan yourself ahead. Like jiulize hii 10 weeks, hata for example plan yourself like 3 months ahead. 3 months iko na
Mm-hmm.
weeks ngapi? 3 times 4, 12 weeks, right? 12
Yeah.
weeks tuseme unaupload once a week. That is 12 different episodes. Ask yourself, 12 different episodes, what do I want to talk about it? What kind of guest do I
Mm.
want to bring? What are we going to talk about? Can I research? Have you done your research so well that who guest akikam, you are ready for
Yeah.
them? You understand? Plus, unataka
Yes.
who guest nikikuhost, for example, nikikuhost
Mm-hmm.
Nyawira ka guest wangu, I want you to be so comfortable to recommend my podcast to another person that
Yes.
akisikia, hey, by the way, I'm going to Nyawira's podcast, ameniita kama guest, ata feel
Yeah.
comfortable, atakuwa
Yeah.
amekupatia a good referral. Mazee Nyawira is so comfortable, is so hospitable, atakumekufeel at home, hayuko
Yeah.
provocative and all that kind of stuff. You know, she's so
Yes.
professional and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, so ask yourself those questions before you start.
Mm-hmm. All right. Uh, uh, Thank you. The sixth. Pretty Bresh, your question is, I need help in making my CV for the Qatar interview. Feel free to reach out to me for the Qatar. Qatar is going to be having some interviews in January 2024. The interviews are about cabin crew. So if you'd like a CV and a cover letter, then I'll do them for you. Just inbox me on the number 0702 622 961. Inbox me and I'll be able to help you with that. Do I have to do season or can I just stick to the episode? This is for you, the sixth from Miss Nova. Would you ask her to sort of break her content into episodes, or is it okay for her to do it in terms of season? Oh, wait, let me rephrase that. Do I have to do a season, or can I just stick to episodes? Monyiri D. Muraga, my number is 0702 622 961. Mwenyiri, feel free to reach out to me 0702 622 961. Feel free to reach out to me on any CV, cover letter, anything about HR and job matters. All right, I think Mwenyiri leo ni siku yako ya kwanza. All right, the sixth. Miss Nduva anauliza swali, tujibu tafadhali.
Um, when I talk about yeah, that's a very amazing question, Miss Nduva. Do you have Do you have to do seasons, or can you just stick to episodes? Unaweza
Yeah.
decide, and you can make your podcast thematic, and that's now when seasons will come in. Same this month I'm gonna talk about, for example, I don't know, whatever you want to talk about. It could be thematic, or inaweza kuwa about a specific topic. Let's talk about relationships, for example, or
Yeah.
divorce in marriage. Nimeona wasa napendanga episode za relationship sana.
Mm-hmm.
Inaweza kuwa about divorce or how to deal with divorce, episode 1 season 1, episode 2 season 1, episode 3, like maybe hiyo month mnaongelea about whatever. Hiyo inaweza kuwa inaweza, this season we talked about this. So in season 2, you can talk
Mm-hmm.
about this and then break them down to 4 episodes and all that. I'm talking about 4 episodes
Yes.
because we have 4 weeks in a month, and owing to the fact that maybe you might be posting once a week, so that's why I'm sticking to
Yeah.
maybe 4 episodes a month. So you can choose. Or
Mm-hmm.
you can make your podcast random, like new ongelea different topics. So unaweza sema
Yeah.
episode 1, episode 2, episode 3,
Mm-hmm.
episode 100, episode whatever, unaget. So yeah, it doesn't change a thing as much, but you
Yeah.
can do whatever you want with your podcast. And kuna kitu yenye nilikuwa nataka kurudia about
Yes.
monetizing monetizing from your podcast. I talked about sponsorships. And I also talked about affiliate marketing. So
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to sponsorships and advertisements, that is when I talked about product placements and all that. And if it is audio podcast, you can partner with sponsors relevant to your podcast content, like I said. And then you can also include sponsored segments or advertisements in your episodes. Okay, this episode is probably brought to you by Always or whatever. This whatever. I see a lot of people using Audibet and all that. So the only thing I have a problem with some podcast is, yes, I know they are making money, but the only problem I have is mi naweza kuwa naongelelea relationships, then mi naona kikombe ya Odibet imewekwa hapo. Sa hizo inafanyanga ni question a lot, like Odibet relationships niingilianaje hapa? Hata ukitaka kuanza kuplugin sponsor, unamplugin aje?
Yeah.
Upenda mwenzako ndi mwende mwatch futa pamoja, I don't know. See, I don't understand. So,
Mm-hmm.
whenever you're approaching a sponsor, guys, make sure
Yeah.
that your content is relevant to them. Unaget, and it makes you feel comfortable. Usikue tu, yes, inakuletea do na hata it makes sense. Like I'll give you for a
Yeah.
fact. You guys can remember Jalango's show. Alikuanga ile show ilikuwa inaitwangaje? Jalango TV akiwanga na host wase. Kitambo,
Mm-hmm.
when Jalango was still hosting stuff on YouTube. He
Okay.
used to have very weird products on set. Na unakuja unajiuliza, yes, najua mnafanya kazi sana, mnatengeneza pesa, lakini sasa umeka
Mm-hmm.
umeka unga ya ugali kwa set na mnapiga hata mkuli ugali yenyewe. Ina make sense kweli, unaget? Yes, sana mmesainiwa, mnapewa do, but make it make sense. Don't just look stupid on air, because yes, you can be making money, but watu si wajinga, watu wataangalia wakuuliza, sasa msana do. Unaget? And like I said, you don't want to lose credibility. Once you lose credibility, ni hivyo, by the way. You don't want to lose credibility. And credibility goes not only from the kind of content you give us, but also how you package yourself. Unaget? How do you package your set? How is your set looking like? Unaget? That is for the video podcast. Affiliate marketing, promote products and services related to your podcast, like I said, through affiliate marketing. You can include unique affiliate links to your podcast episodes, right? And you can also earn a commission from every sale that is guaranteed through your affiliate links. Okay.
Yeah.
So kuna pia na listener donations. If you go watch Mkuru, anakuanga na ka till number hapo kwa nini yake. That is called listener donations and crowdfunding. So if you gather a good number, you can always ask people, bana, tip me. Kuna tip japo ka M-Pesa whatever hapo. That is money at the end of the day. that is listener donations and crowdfunding. Yeah, so you can do that through encouraging listeners to support your podcast through donations or crowdfunding. Unaweza tumia hiyo platforms like unaweza tumia platforms like Patreon that allows you to offer exclusive content to or other Pix or Patreons. I see Andrew Kibe doing that a lot. You can also express gratitude and regular update to supporters uh, through their contributions that impact the podcast. Unaweza sema, guys, I'm trying to build up my podcast. If you support me, I want to buy a new mic and all that kind of stuff. If people love you enough, they will be able to send you money or tip you in the tip jar. Use that nini to buy something like whatever you said you're gonna do it, or through a course, and let them see that you did it. Utaki kuwa na mafans wanakudoubt, and that's why pia also credibility unaget. Kuna premium content and memberships. And that also goes back to the Patreons, yeah. You know, other premium content or exclusive episodes could only be exclusive to maybe some different sort of subscribers. Maybe so more so on YouTube, yeah. Create a membership program with special benefits for subscribers who pay a monthly fee. Unaget, like, because they're paying that fee to keep you going. That money should keep you going, yeah, and even encourage you to keep on producing more and more content. And merchandising, yes, that's a very good whatever. I don't know how I forgot it. Merchandising. After you build a brand, of course you want to maybe print T-shirts or print cups or print capes or whatever, and print hoodies, and ask your fans, loyal fans, yo, but I have merchandise here. Do you guys want merchandise? And if they love you enough, they will support you through that. They'll support you through that, right? And that is going to add money to your pot. It will keep you going. That merchandising kwanza, there's so much money in the merchandising business. Just make sure that you build your brand enough, and make noise about your brand, and make people buy that brand enough to promote and sell your whatever, to sell your brand. So kuna, of course, hatujafika hiyo point, but kuna live events and workshops. Unaweza host workshops, unaweza host alafu charge admission fees and all that, so that is something people are doing a lot. Yeah, so I think that's the whatever, that's those are the points I had about maybe building your podcast to the next level.
All right. You said that you're building a business, and I'm very sure there's a service that you would provide for anyone who's into content creation. So probably there could be someone watching who may probably need your services. What services would you provide for us, and how do we reach you?
How do you reach me, and what services do I provide?
Yes.
Wow, interesting question. What I do a vast number of things, guys. And to begin with, like I said, I'm a producer and I'm a director. I'm a script writer, and I write. I'm a concept developer, also visual concept developer. So if you have maybe a podcast, if you have an idea that you need to put into visuals, I'm always here for you. Think as poor Sana Jesse. I'm always here for you. I've done that for a couple of years, and I'm still doing that. And I also hire out equipment, and I also connect creatives. If maybe someone wants equipment that I might not be able to have, I create that connection between those. I'm a link towards creatives and service providers. But one of the major things that I thrive in is TV production, film production, and editing, and that is sound editing, video editing, and script writing, and idea development. Yeah, pretty much. And I also, if the company you're working for has has something to be done visually, I'm always ready to write quotations and do that job. So you can always holler if that makes sense. Yeah, but I'm
Mm.
so much into the creative world. And yes, I also critique films, by the way. Yeah, I also critique films. I write for Rotten Tomatoes. If you all know Rotten Tomatoes, Rotten Tomatoes is an aggregate film website, an American aggregate film website that critiques films. Yeah, that is what I also do, uh, basically. If
Okay.
someone wants me to train, if someone wants me to train them in production, I'm always here. Me sinanga issue. Just tell me when and where I come train you. If you want to pay me, fine. If you want it on pro bono basis, fine. If you want it on a whatever level, we can always do arrangements. And I train a lot. Right now, I'm doing much more of mobile cinematography training and general cinematography training. I also offer my master classes. I'm working on my website. I want to start selling my master classes on my website on
Mm-hmm.
film and cinematography. It could be mobile cinematography, and that is smartphone
Mm-hmm.
cinematography, and
Mm-hmm.
any other form of cinematography. Yep. And I have a few projects coming, guys. Guys, if I'm working on a film, I hope you guys will be out there to support me. We are working on a film with a few friends of mine, probably to launch
Mm-hmm.
sometime in mid next year. I think we start shooting
Mm-hmm.
around February. It should not
Okay.
mid, but around August next year. I hope if everything goes well in terms of funding and all that. So. But one thing I want to tell people, if you're getting into the creative world, man, it's not easy, but we've been chewed character development like crazy. That is something that we never get to talk about, but we've been chewed character development like crazy. Kulala njaa nimelala njaa. So usiogope kulala
Mm.
njaa. Don't feel like it's the end of the world. Umelala njaa.
Mm.
Kufungiwa nyumba, tumefungiwa nyumba na landlord. Usiget nini, usiget discouraged juu umefungiwa nyumba. I
Mm.
like encouraging people out there really and telling people that
Yeah.
hey, once you believe in what you do and you put God first, man, you have a long way to go, and God will put you in rooms that you never believed that you'll ever get into.
Yes.
He will bring people to you that you never
Yeah.
thought you will ever
Yeah.
bring. You'll ever come across. So don't give
Yes.
up. Don't just give up. Start from wherever you are with whatever you have. Usingoje ati sijui ukae na kamera ya 1 million ndio uanze content creation.
Yeah.
Usingoje whatever. Like I'll tell you for a fact, there's some content that I created through my phone and posted it on Twitter and tagged a few whatevers. I tagged a few clients that I wanted to work with. Trust me,
Mm-hmm.
hata kama hawata respond, trust me, one will see and say that enyewe unafanya kazi poa. Can we work with you? And
Yeah.
for me, that is what worked for me. That is what really worked for me, and it
Yeah.
to some extent, hata kama ilinipatia do, ilinitoa kwa debts zangu for real, like I paid off my debt. Hata kama nilirudika niko broke tena, it paid off my debts. Just
Yeah.
like that, I managed to travel to South Africa to shoot something for someone that just saw on the internet. And I'll tell you guys,
Wow.
don't fear posting your work. Do not fear posting your work. Post. Hata
Mm.
kama ni mbaya. If unaona ni mbaya, trust me, kuna mtu
Mm.
anaenda kuona ni poa. Never feel inadequate. You see that voice telling you that you are inadequate, atiki tu si poa.
Mm-hmm.
That's some put off all those negative comments. Sema alafu jiamini, don't wait for people to tell you that we ni mnoma. We jiambie tu we ni
Mm.
mnoma. This whatever is worthy, whatever I'm doing is worthy. Someone else, if you believe in yourself, other people will believe in you. If you don't believe in yourself, you'll start to procrastinate, you'll start to have low self-esteem, you'll start hating yourself, you'll start hating what you're doing, and you don't need that. You don't need that completely. And I
Wow.
wish you guys all the best. And thank you for listening. Sometimes I talk a lot. I wish you guys all the best, and may God, man, this new year, 2024, as we cross over, I just hope that God answers your prayers and meet you
Mm.
at your point of need, And I know it has not
Mm-hmm.
been a good year for a lot of people, but I
Yeah.
just hope that everything is gonna work for you like God has planned. Nah, man,
Yes.
it's gonna be an amazing. Have that attitude. Have that attitude. Don't doubt yourself.
Yes.
Yes.
Wow. Where? Wow. There's a question for you. There's
Mm-hmm.
a question for you. I love what you just said, but there's a query for you. Someone
Mm-hmm.
said, I think what they were trying to ask was for someone who does not have money. Let me
Mm-hmm.
read. It says, there are these people that have ideas, have talents, but have no cash. How are you supporting them? Maybe I think in terms of content creation. Then he went ahead to add, like ask for me, how is he helping the people behind him? I don't know if he means how you're impacting other people. I think that's what
Yeah.
he means. Yeah.
Um. First, question one: for those who don't have money
Mm,
and you have this amazing project,
yeah.
that you have this amazing project in mind, I think reach out to people. Don't just sit with that project there. Like, I believe in power of partnerships. Like, there's power in many hands. Like, you can't do stuff alone. And I always tell people, by the way, if this project, because in my line of work, I depend on a lot of people. I can't be a jack of all trades. I
Mm,
can't be the producer, the director, the editor, the colorist, and all that. The concept developer, I can't be all that. Kichongo itabomoka, kichongo
mm,
itapasuka. So I always tell people, I believe in the power of bringing hands together, community. Like,
mm,
build a community around you that will come through for you when you need them. And they believe in you so much, they'd be like, yo, I want to put money in this project. I want to support you in this. And that's why I said that crowdfunding, build a genuine community around you to the point that ikifika hiyo point ya unataka ku crowdfund, people believe in your idea. Okay?
yes.
So, um approach people, talk to people, write proposals, approach clients. Hey, I have this idea, and I thought
Mm,
you guys could fit in. Kuwa mjanja pia wewe, because watu pia wapeanangi tu pesa hivyo. Like, give them value, promise them value, and please make sure working your box deliver that value. Give them that value. Write, for example, write to, it depends on the kind of content you want to create, and write to maybe a
mm,
hotel. Hey, I have this idea and I don't have
mhm,
anywhere to shoot. Are
mm,
you guys able to come through for me in A, B, C, and way? And this is the value I'm gonna give you back in return. So that is a community you're building around you. Okay? That is a community in itself. That one client, if they believe in you, they'll influence other clients to believe in you. That is money coming. Two, if you don't have, never tell yourself like, I have this project and I don't have the right equipment. Don't wait for the right
mm,
equipment. Right now we
mm,
have smartphones. I'll tell you for a
yeah.
fact. My project, my podcast, the first video I told you, I recorded it in my house behind my curtains na simu. And through that, someone saw it akasema, hey bana, by there I have this studio and it's just lying there. So you come record your content, right? And before I know
Mm,
it, Mdundo guys say, hey bana, we saw your content. Can we whatever convert them to audio podcast and post them? People are listening. These are content people love to listen, and that is money streams. Those are money streams. So don't just light up your candle and put it under the table. It will burn the whole house.
mm. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. So they should just simply just put out their content.
Put out that
Money or
content.
no money. Yeah.
Money or no
Create
money,
content.
put out that
Mm,
content, italeta do. Kama ni kuleta, italeta
mm,
pesa, and don't give up. Hata ya kwanza isipoleta, even the 10th one may not bring money, but probably the 11th one will. So in
yeah.
short, don't just stop. Keep on keeping on. Don't
Mm,
give up. Yeah,
yes. All right. He says, great idea, but does it apply across all industries?
I think it does. I think it does.
It
That
does,
element
huh?
of not giving, that element of not giving up, I think it does in all industries. I'll tell you for a fact. Me, I've had people who stood by me. Like, this is a story for another day. Me, when I quit my job, I didn't even quit my job. I would say when my position was declared redundant, Man, I think it was an eye-opening point. Like,
Mm-hmm.
if I had given up, me, there are days I felt like
Yeah.
giving up. There are days I was breaking down on my floor. I was like, yo, I can't see this life
Mm-hmm.
happen. Una get.
Yeah.
But one thing I
Mm.
thank God for, nothing in the name of suicide ever came to my mind. Oh, sijui ending my
Wow.
life. Oh, sijui, I was
Mm-mm.
always like, you know what, God, hii place umenieka, najua wewe ndio
Mm.
umenieka na uko na nguvu ya kunitoa.
Yes.
One thing that has kept
Mm.
me going is just
Mm-hmm.
bowing down to God and asking God, show me the right direction. Show me where to go. When I go too far, show me where to stop. Nikienda mbali, nipigishe kona. I'm here. Mi niko kwa mkono yako. Fanya venye utafanya. Unaget? So my main point is, don't just give up. You can't
Yeah.
give up. Man, you've come so far to give up now.
Yeah.
You've come so
Yeah.
far to give up now. Keep on pushing.
Yes.
Imagine like there is this meme that I saw. It's not a meme per se. I saw it on LinkedIn. Wasema una pushingi sana, then una give up the next minute the other side. Like it's like someone digging to have you seen that picture where someone is digging is trying to dig gold, and then when they're almost giving up, kama wamebakitisha tu
Mm.
one step na wapate hiyo gold.
Mm.
So that is, I apply that in my life. Mimi nikifeeling, the more
Yes.
I feel like nakuwa depressed, nakuwa discouraged, that's the more I keep praying, I keep on pushing, I keep on making noise about my work. Sometimes I post my content on TikTok, and
Mm.
I smile there and I look like I'm okay, but deep inside I'm not okay. But I'm like, najua siku moja itajipa, siku moja itajipa, siku moja
Yes.
itajipa. Najiambia hivyo, I encouraged myself. So
Mm.
that's why I always tell people, just encourage yourself. Encourage yourself, keep doing what you're doing. The world is
Yes.
watching. One day mtu atashika hiyo content yako and they'll propel you to the
Mm-hmm.
next level.
Yes. Umesikia Godwin Wanjala? Mambo iko in whichever industry it is, wewe unasema you're into music, eh? Mambo don't give up. Keep producing. Naona ni kama ako na swali kwako. Wacha aulize.
Go ahead, please.
Captain kuja kesho nitakupatia kazi. For anyone who's here for work, I think I'll be reading jobs tomorrow morning as early as 9 a.m. I'll be seated here. Lakini for now, acha Godwin aulize swali. Godwin sasa, 9 a.m. tomorrow. Godwin unanipata? How are you?
Hello,
Hi, how are you?
I'm good.
Right.
Hi,
I
I'm
have
good.
just realized you're interested in this topic and you're producing music or rather you're writing music. You feel free to direct your question, any question to the sixth. Do you have any question for
Thank
me?
you for this privilege.
All right.
Mine, I was just concerned about the music industry. Like you may be having that urge to major in music, but you completely have no backup. You completely have nowhere to begin from. You have no one to hold your hand. You have no place to hold on. How will you go about it?
In
It's just,
music?
yeah, talking about music, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
let me answer you in one straight way, yeah. You write music, right?
Yes.
Have you ever produced any
Yeah.
music at all? Have you?
I haven't.
You haven't, but you've written a number of music, right? Niko sure uko na kitu inaitwa songbook mahali
Yes.
umeandikanga tu mangoma zako and all that kind of stuff, right? What I want to tell you is,
Yes. Yes.
right now, unaona hii platform yenye uko,
Yes.
hii platform inaitwa TikTok. Hii platform ni shetani.
Yeah.
Algorithm ya hii platform ni shetani, my friend. It's working like it's working like the devil. I'll tell you that for a fact. If you have music, go record what you do. You don't have to get a studio to begin with. Go record what you do. Post it out there. I've seen people who didn't have who didn't have money to go to studio, and they just maybe recorded themselves rapping and all that kind of stuff. That is how maybe a music producer identified them and started
Mhm.
producing music for them. I'll tell you
Yeah.
something for a fact. Like I used I used a proverb here. It's not to say a proverb. It's something I always use, I say a lot. You can't light a candle and put it under the table
Yeah.
and expect it to it will burn the whole house. Okay, you can't have a talent no mekanayo kwa hao. Put it out
Yeah.
there. Let the world know that you can sing. Let the world know that you can rap. Let the world know that you can do poetry and all that kind of stuff. That is when you're exposing your talent. Use these social platforms to expose your talent. Tell people that, hey guys, this is what I do. Make noise about it. Let that anything you're posting about your TikTok is that music that you do. You never know. Like I said, you never know who's watching.
Yeah.
Maybe a producer might come across you or whatever and say, hey, Bana, we need to elevate this content. We need to elevate this guy. I was
Yeah.
listening to, go and listen, go on YouTube and listen to Cleaning the Airwaves. There's a channel called CTA, Cleaning the Airwaves. And I was listening to Nani Jana. I was watching CTA. Yeah, Jay Blessing, the music, the video producer Jay Blessing, how he started. Trust
Mhm.
me, if he didn't express how what he does and all that, he wouldn't be where he is today. That dude says anafanya videos for people like akina Kofi Olomide, being charged a
Mhm.
million shillings per video. Yeah, he was
Mhm.
telling us how he Kofi Olomide he's shot like sijui how many a whole album ya Kofi Olomide, and every song he was paid a million shillings. So if he sat on his talent na eke chini ya maji aseme nini nini sina a complain sina studio or sina camera and all that, bro, you have a smartphone, unaweza join TikTok, uko na TikTok account, record
Mhm.
yourself. Forget about the quality. It doesn't have to be quality. People love humble beginning stories. Those are the stories we love. Unaget? Start from the humblest beginning. Usingoje kitu kubwa ndio useme now I'm ready. No, you will never be ready. You will never.
Yeah.
If that doesn't challenge you enough, I don't know what will ever challenge you to go for your dream. Go for it like you are hungry. Be hungry for your dream. And
Yes.
no matter what anybody says, don't care about what anybody says. If they post negative comments about whatever you're doing, use those negative comments to build yourself.
Yes.
Nugget.
Mhm.
Yes.
Mhm. Godwin, I would like to get to know you better.
Yes.
What do you do? What kind of music are you into? Is it rap? Is it singing? What exactly are you into? And where are you based?
I'm based in Bungoma,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm into gospel.
Mm-hmm. Writing, singing.
Yes.
Is it
Like
writing or
most of my
just
music, I
singing?
get them out of Revelation.
Mm-hmm.
I have just liked a few, but mostly I most of my songs I get them out of Revelation.
All right. Can you sing? Do you sing?
Hello,
Do you sing?
hello,
Do you sing? Can you hear me? Do you
hello,
sing? Godwin, do you sing?
hello.
I
All
think he has
right. So I'm
network.
gonna drop. He has a network issue, so I'm gonna drop him and then pick him up again. I would like to hear him sing. I know this is not a singing channel, but when I listen, I'm very good at detecting someone's mood while they speak. I sensed and I felt. What did you sense when he was speaking the sixth? What did you sense from his voice?
Um,
Sixth.
um, uh, Trying to analyze, I felt like he has some need. Yeah, I
Yeah.
feel like he has that needs to be fulfilled, and he's worth listening to. Like, trust me, I would really love to help him if I could. Like, I just want to know,
Mhm.
like, dude, and yeah, if I can
Mhm.
afford it, I can just help. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, I felt some sort of need burning in his soul. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah.
Because I've been there. I've been there. I'll tell you that for a fact.